Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions in the worlds of pop culture, social media, sports, and of course hockey. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis, and on Twitter you know me as PD Beats. My guest, it's the second time on Popternative. He was on our special HEO U-18 AAA panel, but now we have a one-on-one with him. He is a member of USA Hockey's National Team Development Program, U-17, and he's also committed to Boston University Terriers. We're with Dylan Peterson. Dylan, welcome back to Popternative.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's awesome.
No problem. So we didn't obviously have a chance to talk about it, but talk a little bit about your experience in, going to camp for the U-17s and your decision to kind of join that team in the fall.
Yeah, obviously it's getting asked to go to the final camp, even just a surreal experience, get there, play with some of the top 48 players in the U.S., compete against them in the gym, on the ice, all that good stuff. And, when the offer came on the table, it's something I've wanted for the past 6 years of my life. And, it's just a easy decision, probably easiest decision in my life and probably the decision I'll ever make in my entire life, just to say yes to that and put pen to paper. And I mean, just if anyone gets to see that kind of like facility, that kind of training, all that stuff, like it's ridiculous.
So what were some of the kind of the takeaways from that experience? I mean, I'm sure there was a long list, but like, what did you kind of learn the most, or were you impressed with the most when you were down there?
Just the development of players, the focus and the the money that goes into each player, that what they do there for players is just, it's crazy. See the gym, it's crazy. It's just a great experience just to see that stuff, and you see the players who go through there. It's just awesome.
And talk a little bit about you see a little bit on Instagram, the players that, are going to be on your team in the fall. I mean, when you, like, how was kind of the bonds? Was it kind of like instant chemistry of a lot of the guys, or was it bonding right at the start? I mean, it must be kind of overwhelming, a lot of guys from different backgrounds coming in, and you're kind of like, wow, like these are the players that you're going to kind of play with for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to play in Colorado for 4 years in youth hockey. So I kind of played against or with some of the guys that I'm playing with for the next 2 years, which was, good for me to, get used to the program and stuff. But there's definitely a lot of new guys, and it's a little bit tough at first getting to bond. But I was down there over a couple of weeks ago, and that's when I officially met all the teammates and stuff. And we had a great time. Bonded pretty easily, and I think we're gonna do pretty good over the next 2 years.
So I want to talk a little bit about your roots. I mean, prior to the National Team Development Program, you played for CIH, and I want you to kind of explain to people what CIH Academy is and talk a little bit about your experiences there.
Yeah, for sure. I played with 6-7s and Wild in the league, before I went to CIH. And when CIH approached me and, said they wanted me to join their program, I went and visited, and I just felt personally, me and my family, we felt that this would bring me, to the next level in my game as a human, And as I was there, they prepared me for what I need to be prepared for in the next 3-4 years, going after the program, going to BU, living on my own and in the dorm and stuff like that. It totally prepared me. And, on the hockey side of things, I was in the gym on the ice every single day with, coaches who played in the NHL, Andre Savage, people like that, who just completely prepared me for what I'm going to see in the next couple of years.
That's really, really cool. I mean, I find the landscape's kind of interesting because, for you, the NHL draft is a couple years away, but the OHL draft just happened, and then you're making your decision, and you committed to Boston University a couple years ago. But I mean, how are you kind of blocking all that out, because you have to focus on the task at hand, and right now the task at hand is not even Boston University. It's kind of getting into U-17s and making an impact, but there's going to be all these other things that are going to kind of come up throughout the year. How are you kind of like staying focused and staying focused on like the task at hand, Dylan?
Right, I focus on everyday things, like I focused on my game every single day. I try to block out everything, my parents used to always say, and I used to always say as a kid, I go where the car goes, and I put on the skates, and I go on the ice, and I play my game. And that's what I focused on every single day at CIH, just to, block out those things, go out there and have fun. And that's made my game better, just having fun out there.
What were some of the things that you kind of noticed from, the U-17s in terms of, the style of play? Was it bigger, faster than compared to kind of the hockey that you kind of grew up playing with CIH and in Colorado?
Yeah, these, like, are you talking about that national team?
Yeah, the national team.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's obviously a step up, just on the hockey side of things. Like, these guys that you're playing against or with even, they're all incredible players. They all bring stuff to the table, which is just completely unique from every other guy. We got kids in my team who I've never seen skate so fast in my life, and they're blown by me, and I got to get used to all this because stuff that I might not be completely used to before. These kids in my team, even they're all incredible people, all incredible players, and it's something that I have to adapt to, and kind of find myself on a chart of where I'm at and go from there.
What I found really interesting when I had a lot of the players that got drafted to the National Hockey League this year on the podcast, like Sarah Noel, even like Jacob Olofsson, who got drafted by Montreal Canadiens, I kind of asked them because they're in kind of like an interesting spot because, especially you guys are at like kind of a young age, and like you being like 16 and you're kind of learning, but you kind of have to adapt to the way hockey and the way the game has kind of evolved and adapted. It's more of like a pro setting, you know what I mean? Like even like the AAA, the way it was, with the crowds and like the fans and kind of getting ready. It's kind of a unique situation because you're kind of like a kid, but you have to kind of act like a pro at a young age. Have you ever thought of it like that before?
Yeah, we're still young kids, we're learning every day, new experiences, and to play in front of a fan base is something completely new, and we have to every day be good people off the ice to continue and grow our fan base. We have to do stuff in the community, do all that great stuff. And yeah, it's going to be, hopefully fill the stands and stuff. So.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit about, a friend of yours that you grew up with, you played hockey with, Donovan Sabrango. He was kind of on that panel I talked about at the beginning of the episode. Talk a little bit about the importance of kind of having guys like him around for that kind of process of kind of figuring out what you want to do and kind of making those decisions and growing your game and having that kind of person there with you. Because, you, for people that don't know, like you and Donovan both played together, at CIH, and it seemed like you were like Batman and Robin pretty much.
Yeah, no, Dono is, one of my favorite people in the world, one of my best friends, and I love him to death. And yeah, it was awesome, playing with him. We run, like, we didn't play on the best team, obviously. We finished, in the first year we finished like last or whatever, but we had to face a lot of adversity, both of us together. And when like scholarships and stuff, when that stuff came up, we were both dealing with the same kind of thing. So it was good to have someone like that, to talk to, to see where he's going, see what he's thinking, just to kind of cope with all the, the distractions, the adversity, all that stuff. So yeah, it was awesome having him around. It was a blessing,
I wanted to know a little bit. I want to talk specifically about you, and I want to talk about like your game and you're like who are you on the ice and who are you off the ice?
Right. Yeah, I'll start with on the ice. I play honestly with a lot of emotion. Sometimes a little too far. I think I had 70-some penalty minutes, a couple years ago at CIH. So sometimes it gets me in trouble, but sometimes I play with a lot of heart, and I play with a lot of passion, and I love the game. And so I go out there. Last year I changed my playing style to a bit more a playmaker. I really like to play around in the low zones, in the offensive zone, get pucks out front, make plays happen and stuff like that. And I think that's definitely been, a game changer for me personally, because I use my skating ability and stuff like that just to make offensive plays all over the ice. And, off the ice, I'm pretty chill dude. I like to hang with buddies and stuff like that. My focus is always hockey, so I keep that in the back of my mind every day. And, I just take one day at a time and see what happens.
On social media, it's no surprise that people are kind of talking about a certain crop of players, and they're talking about the fact that every year it seems, and this is one of the reasons, Dylan, why I think hockey is about to take off and become like one of the biggest sports, because you talk about kind of generational talents and players that kind of come in, and like once in a while, like every 3-4 years, a very like an unbelievable generational talent comes in the league. Well, specifically right now in hockey, it just seems like every year there's like a generational talent coming in the National Hockey League.
Right.
You can go back like Connor McDavid, and then Austin Matthews, and we're looking to like Jack Hughes for next year, and then 2020, which I believe is your draft year. They're talking about Alexis Lafreniere and Dylan Peterson yourself. So what do you think is kind of, and those are just kind of small, like a small group of players, but in general, we're seeing so much talent coming out there. What do you think has been the biggest change in the last year in terms of players and how they're training, and what has made them kind of progress and become the amazing talents that they have, that they are? Because the game is becoming a lot more skilled, man. It's unbelievable.
Right. Yeah, the game's definitely changed into more of a lifestyle. Kids come out, you're born with skill and stuff, but it comes with hard work. You have to be in the gym every day, on the ice every day. These kids are like, I'm going to, camps and stuff. Like, these kids are coming out of the woodworks. I've never seen these kids before, and they're just amazing hockey players and they do great for themselves in later years and stuff. So yeah, the game's changing for sure. It's getting faster. It's getting more skilled every single year. And, by the time, hopefully, if I get up there, the game's just going to be something insane to watch for sure.
I want you to put your scouting hat on a little bit now. Who are some players that, whether they're from the U.S. or Europe or Canada, that you've played with at a certain level, that are kind of like the dark horses, or players that, you think that people are going to want to kind of pay attention to, that they don't know their name? Like, you might say a name, and then and people are like, who's that? But it's like, that's a name that they really want to, they should know down the road. Like, who are some players that you've kind of played with that you were impressed with, specifically at camp or at tournaments? Anyone that we should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, there are a lot of players. Growing up, there's a lot of big names. Like the Smolanics, the Stranges, the Byfields, all those incredible players. And yeah, there's obviously like the other guys you might not get as much sunshine. There's Landon Slaggert on my team. Really good player, committed to Notre Dame, just insane player, really good hands, all that good stuff. We got, just on my team specifically, we have Luke Tuck, his brother plays for Vegas. Kid, great leadership skills. I know for sure he's going to do great stuff in, the upcoming years. And there's just so much talent, all around. I could probably name you 150 players right now. It's just, they're all going to do great for themselves, so.
The National Team Development Program has a very overwhelming schedule in terms of tournaments and league games, and it's just crazy. How are you kind of preparing yourself for that schedule, and how are you preparing yourself from going into playing, teams in the USHL and then playing, in those tournaments representing the US, because it's going to be different?
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely going to be used to that. Playing against bigger, just in the USHL itself, as all 16-year-olds, we're playing against 20-year-olds, it's going to be a different level of hockey. And, we like to think as our team, we're faster. We might be more skilled than these guys, but obviously have the edge, physically, even mentally, having the experience and stuff. So we have to prepare ourselves, just for the hitting game, the physicality, all that good stuff. And then over, when we travel overseas or all that stuff for like those important tournaments, we're going to be playing against, the best kids representing the countries, and we just have to bring our game to, the highest level possible to compete with those guys.
Absolutely. When did you kind of, I asked you this on the panel, but I wanted to talk more about it. Your decision to go to Boston University, you kind of touched on like why you chose that school, but like when did that all start and come to be? Like, when was that kind of an option for you? Because I understand It was a unique situation where it was like pretty at like a pretty young time in your career.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think I was 14 at the time. I'd been about 2 years ago, and just playing at CIH, get some games in, stuff like that. I think we're only 10 games in, and I got a text from a family advisor of mine who who told me, schools are starting to look at me, and this is an important, time in my life. I can start, looking, visiting schools, and because I told him this is what I want to do in my life. This is why I want to go to school for sure. And he said, okay. So the BU came out to watch one of my games against. I remember the game like it was yesterday, and it was against Titans, and we hadn't beat Titans even though they finished second last. And I remember just really focusing like I have to play good this game, and but then I kind of like let it slip in my mind. Okay, let me just relax. I'm gonna go out there and just play my game. I'm not gonna worry about it. And fortunate enough for me, I went out. I put up some points. I think we almost won. I think we lost by, a goal. It slipped away from us or whatever. Our team played amazing. And, that just kind of skyrocketed from there. I went and visited, all that good stuff. And it changed my life,
Absolutely. Well, we'll wrap up. But Dylan, thanks for coming back on the show, man. It's it's cool to kind of talk about all this because it's such an exciting time right now for you. I mean, you're it just feels like living in Ottawa, being around the rink. You hear your name all the time, but like one can make an argument that like that's nothing. Like I'm sure I'm going to be hearing your name all the time. Especially like going to U-17s and everything. But yeah, no, seriously, I wish you all the best in Michigan with the National Team Development Program. And what are your kind of what are your kind of takeaways in terms of like you mentioned, you wanted to do. You were ready to kind of balance school and playing, you know what I mean? But not takeaways, but goals. What do you kind of long story short, want to do right off the bat for Michigan?
I want to go out there. I want to, I'm obviously, something that goes along with me playing hockey is that, I like to put up points and stuff like that. And so I hopefully, I have a goal in mind of putting up a certain number of points, and that's just something that comes along with the game. You got to do that, to be successful. And I want our team. I know our team is going to be successful. We're outstanding group of guys. So, I want to win. I want to win a lot of the games. I want to, be above 500% for sure, stuff like that. So, I think we can do it, and I think we're going to do it.
Very cool, man. Where can people follow you on social media? Like, what are the handles? Like, what are they?
It's just on Instagram, Dylan Peterson with 2 N's, and then on Twitter, Dylan Peterson 28.
All right, cool. Thank you for giving me the name. Thank you for giving me the names of them.
Yeah.
Seriously, man, I wish you all the best, and thanks a lot for coming back on the show, dude.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. It was awesome.
For sure. Well, this has been Popturnative, youtube.com/Popturnative for the video episodes. A lot of hockey on there as well. iTunes, Spotify for the audio onlys. Until next time, this is Dylan Peterson and PD Beats signing off for Popturnative.
Thank you for tuning in to Popturnative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popturnative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popturnative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.